Hello, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of Factorio, episode 4. In this episode, we're going to be focusing on getting our oil up and running, which I would consider the mid-game. So once you get to oil, you have officially reached mid-game in Factorio. Once you are having your oil up and running, I believe it can be moderately difficult and confusing. So we'll go over the basics and everything to get your factory up and running oil-wise, and we'll take it from there. First thing before you start, oil is a liquid, if you didn't get that already, and we're going to need some pipes for that. We don't have our pipes automated yet, so we are going to automate pipes. We are going to be adding that onto our quote-unquote bus line here. Our pipes. It's a personal consumption item, so we don't need a ton of them either. Just need a few. Gonna put those, and those. And we'll drag this line over to here. Something like that. And that's right up to there. Underground pipes require normal pipes as well. That's why we build like that. And you do something like that. Beautiful. Now we've got our pipes. And then we're going to throw them into a chest, so we can use them later. And now we have pipes automated. We don't need an entire full chest of pipes like that. We could probably go, I don't know, 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5. That's plenty of pipes there. In underground, they stack in 50s, so 100 undergrounds. Maybe a few more, actually. They're quite expensive, though, so it does add up. Also, for our oil, we need pump jacks. So we did tech this yesterday, or our last playthrough. We got fluid handling, which gives us these beautiful storage tanks. Oil processing, and we did do flammables, too, which we didn't need to do. We just needed the pump jack, which unlocks the oil refinery and the chemical plant. And those are the two things we need for our next science pack, which is the chemical science pack. We can't actually make the chemical science pack yet because we haven't teched it. So we will queue up our plastic, our electronics, and then we can click on the chemical science here to see what the tree is. And we're also missing sulfur. So we'll get those ones done and then queue up blue. Chemical, blue, whatever you want to call it. So we have all that set up and our lab set up over here. If we push M now that we have radar coverage, should be working for us. So we actually super backed up because we weren't using it consistently. And we can also see all around our base too with our radar coverage. So it's actually quite a nice setup. So we are going to be mining out this oil or drilling out this oil. We have 5 blotches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe they're actually called splats. So about 5 of those. We also need a couple of oil refineries. Everything else is already automated or made that we need. Stone bricks are already automated because we're making military science. So you might not have stone bricks yet, so you might have to start smelting your stone bricks. Otherwise, you're good to go. Use the steel as well. Pretty expensive recipe. It does add up over time. And we'll make some chemical plants as well. So while we're handcrafting those, our pipes are also accumulating for us as well. Slowly. We can upgrade these buildings to the tier 2 assembler. Make it a little bit faster for us. But that should be okay for right now. Now we're going to run over to our oil and set it up. Set up some pump jacks. Oil can be done in a lot of different ways. I like to amalgamate my oil deposits. So instead of having the oil refined on site, I will pipe it towards my base, which we'll talk about in a second. I'll show you how I set that up. Oil, there's only a few real ways to hook up oil. And we're just going to put some underground pipes here. We're going to kind of connect them all together. There really is only a few ways to hook up oil. And every other way is just a deviation from the standard setup. And we'll go over that in a moment. Put that there. I believe on my first ever playthrough, I was fairly intimidated by oil. They've actually simplified it since version 17. Basic oil refining now only has crude oil, which turns into petroleum. It used to be crude oil would turn into light oil, heavy oil, and petroleum. So that's actually been simplified for version 1.0. Which is nice, I do believe. Help prevent people from being overwhelmed by oil. So this area here doesn't really matter how it's set up. It can be pretty messy. You're never going to go over here again unless it somehow gets eaten by biters or something. We're never going to have to walk over here. It's kind of set up, and we're done. And now we're going to connect everybody together. Put a little space there so we can connect that later too. We're still building our plants. Taking forever. We just need one more underground pipe. So we can walk away from this area and never come back. Okay. So now our oil is getting pushed into the pipes right here. We'll put it into there. And down it goes. So we do not want to work with the oil way up over north there. North? I guess it's north. We'd rather have it down in the base where it's more accessible. I can tell right here we are not making a lot of steel. We need some more mining drills too. As we walk by, we can add to our setups here. It looks like actually the issue is power right now. So our power is not really satisfied. It's almost satisfied, but not quite. So we'll fix that too at the same time. So one thing with Factorio is you're always growing. Your factory is never stagnant. You're always adding more power. You're adding more of this. You're adding more of that. I think that's part of the joy of Factorio. Put that there and there. I like to keep a space between my boilers and my steam turbine so I can put the power line in between. Otherwise you can't quite fit the power line in your setups. Just like that. And we can have the inserter right there. Just pulling off the grenade line. It's the only thing the coal is used for. Later on we'll be using the coal for plastic as well, but we're not there yet. A couple more of those, and a few more of those before we walk away. And now we'll just have our pipe go like that and connects. Everybody has water. Everyone's happy. We'll grab some of our automated pipes as we set them up a moment ago. Conveniently. And there we go. We got 165 underground pipes already. Or pipes, and then 34 underground pipes. Put you there. Not quite connected yet. Almost. That can reach all the way across. And then a couple more boilers. Something like that. It's either we set up like this or we move this line. And I feel like this works. It's not amazing, but it does work. And 3 more. There are mods that allow you to walk through pipes. So if you're looking for quality of life mods, there's a few mods that I might suggest to make your life a bit easier. The one that makes you walk through these buildings is called Squeak Through. So you can look for that on the mod portal. Should be updated for version 1.0 by now. And another one that's kind of nice to work with is Long Reach. So instead of you not being able to grab this item right now, because you can't reach it, it lets you, as the title suggests, reach all the way across. So, Long Reach. I normally don't use too many quality of life mods myself, but it's a single-player game. Play it as you would. We're also going to make some storage tanks for our oils. Our oils, plural. And our power is plenty fine now. Plenty fine. Walk over to our iron for just a moment. Add some more ores. Easily expandable setup, which is an important feature in Factorio with your factory. If you make it very complicated to add to it, it takes more time to add to it. So simplicity is beautiful. There we go, we're adding more. So that's good there, and our oil is right up over here. Can't make any pumps yet, but I'll talk about pumps as well and how pumps can be utilized with oil. Fluid mechanics are quite interesting. We'll talk about that as I start filling up a storage tank of how fluid mechanics in this game work. it's not linear, and they don't act as a... They sloosh in their containers. Oil doesn't stay stagnant, doesn't just sit there in a line. And pipes also have a throughput as well. So it does splash back and forth in the lines. And right over... We'll put the oil over there, actually. We'll keep going with it. And looks like we can connect to that. So pumps are quite interesting as well, how pumps work in this game. Pumps force the resource to go from one side to the other. So as I am setting this up right now, you can tell the pipe is full. It's 100% full. So you don't really have to worry about how the mechanic works if you have a massive surplus of it. But as you put your first storage container, you notice that this is not 100% full yet. Obviously, because we just set it down. It's filling up. But you also notice that the pipe is at the same amount. So the pipe's at 25, we'll say 25% full. And the storage tank is also 25% full. So consider the storage tank is like a flat pancake, and it's the same height as the pipe. So if this is only 30% full, this is also only 30% full. And same with this one here. So if you were to put a pump, I can't build a pump yet, but if you were to put a pump right here, which is a 2x2 building, and it would go something like that, the pump would force the liquid on this side here to be at a 0, and this one here to be as full as it possibly could. So it's going to grab all the liquid out of here and force it into this guy. So it doesn't act as a balancing act anymore. So this won't be 60% and this 60%. It'll be this 100% and this could be 0%. And it does not allow backflow either. So with a pump, it can only go one way. We're also going to do a basic circuit setup with our pump. So we're actually going to swap here for 2 seconds. Another item I do suggest is your first ever circuit in Factorio. Circuits can be quite confusing. It sounds very stressful. You're going to do like... It's like redstone in Minecraft, if you played Minecraft. I never played with that stuff too much. I'm not a programmer. I don't enjoy those type of complexities in my life. I like to keep my life a little bit simple. So when you have very complex systems like that, I just don't I don't normally dabble with it too much. But in Factorio, there's a few that you set up are quite easy and are very, very, very beneficial. And I'll show you exactly how to set them up. I'll be nice like that. Right here, we're going to make engines quickly as well. Trying to go a little bit quick here. Engines are pretty simple as well, and you can direct insert. I've done some really weird designs with this for direct inserting, but let's come back to this. This is so simple and easy. So you have your items on the belt like that. And you actually can't make engines in the Tech 1 assembler. If you notice... Oh, you can now. Okay, they make a liar to me. Used to not be able to make it out of that assembler. Had to be made out of a tier 2 assembler. Made a liar out of me. But now we can. So, you're good. I'm the old guard of Factorio. I've been playing this game for a few years now. And by a few, I mean way too many. But that's okay. Okay, and then we just need our steel line, which is over down here somewhere. I walked right past it. Apparently I'm blind today. And we'll do the same thing with our splitter. Look how clean it looks still. Our factory still looks very clean. How many more belts do I need? Go pick them up, or I could just handcraft a few here. Long inserters. And there we go. We got some engines automated. Engines build super slowly. So, however many engines you have set up, you probably need more. I've looked at the craft time of an engine here. It's 10 seconds. And you look at a craft time of another item, like a green circuit, electronic circuit, it's half a second. So 20 times as long. Quite slow. There's very, very delicious coffee right next to me that I'm definitely going to have to utilize a little bit. It's delicious. It's fresh. It's home brewed. Made it myself. I believe the word is I percolated it. And we're going to start accumulating these in a chest. I'm not quite ready for them yet, but I do need them, and you can't handcraft them. So some items can't be handcrafted. Like plastic bars can't be handcrafted. Engines can't be handcrafted. So we quickly set that up, and we're good to go there. Circuit network is teching as well. It's another thing we needed. If we go look on our mini-map for a second as well, we don't see any biters in the mini-map with our radar coverage. You can see the radar is actually exploring these blocks. So it'll explore out as far as it can. Beautiful. Beautiful. So now we are almost ready for our... Actually, we'll just let that go forever. You can go forever. We're almost ready for our oil now. So we do have our underground pipes. We have normal pipes. We have a couple pumps. You do not need the pumps, but I kind of like to have them set up. And we're going to put the oil over here. So we pump the oil from here, and we're bringing it over here. Just because how our bus style is set up is we have our red signs, then our green, then our military, then we'll have a chemical over here, and then our purple, and then our yellow signs over here. So we're kind of prepping the base to get ready. Also, with oil processing, you do need water for tier 2 oil processing. So having it near water deposit will just make your life a lot easier. Now, oil can look a little bit intimidating because there's 1,000 inputs in it. 5 to be exact. It's almost 1,000. But again, the basic oil processing is very simple now. It's just 1-to-1 ratio. It's not 1-to-1 ratio. It's a 1-to-1 input. But you still have all these inputs, and you're kind of like, oh man, what's going on with that? So with oil and with your refinery setup, you can put a space so you can allow beacons in here for future planning if you wanted. But at the end of the day, your inputs and your outputs are always going to kind of be the same. So you have your crude oil here, which is on this side, and we're going to shift right click, shift left click. So you have your oil on crude oil coming in here. But then you have your water on the next side. So we're just going to get it ready for Tech 2 processing right away. So you can leave that there. You can still see. So you have an input here and an input there. So crude oil, water. And you have your 3 outputs. So we have our heavy, light oil, and petroleum. Bear with me for a second here. Okay, so we have this set up like that. Why I'm setting up like this is I'm linking all the fluids together. You can't mix not likewise fluids. So you can't have this line go to that line, connect to that line, because this is going to be our light oil or heavy. I can't remember which one it is. It's one or the other. And then this one's going to be the other oil, and this is petroleum. So you have your 3 outputs, and they're all different, and the lines obviously can't mix. So what you do to connect them is you make a design like this. Now, every single design I've ever seen for oil in my 4,000 plus hours of Factorio played always looks something very similar to this. Otherwise, it's just a hot, hot mess of pipes. So you have your input lines and the exact same on the input. And this allows nice tight spacing, very clean, very organized, and very easy to expand on top of. It's like that. So when you have your input line, wherever that happens to be, it could be on one of the buildings like that, easy. And it's not really in the way. And all our other oils are very well connected now too. You can start making a mess of your oils at this point. That's fine. But at least you have everything kind of organized. And we have our one oil there, and then we can put our other oil right here. And then we can put our petroleum by itself as well. You can have it going down or up or whatever. So any variation of the setup, it's always very, very similar. It's either like this. This is another way of doing it. And then you put spacing different or something. And then you have your lines like this. But at the end of the day, they're all exactly the same. You're still spacing everything apart and having all the connectors like this. This is actually the exact same as this at the end of the day. It's just it's in a different place. So this setup here, just clean. It's easy, quick to set up. And that's really, there's no flexibility with your oil setup other than making the biggest mess ever known to man. And that's okay too, if that's what you're into. But if you're going to add lots of refineries and any setup like that, it's really the only way to do it. I'm sorry to stifle your creativity there, but it's one of those resources that if you have a different idea, sure, throw it in the comments, or a different setup. But this is really the only thing I've ever seen that works properly. And then we have our oil on the top. Our water, sorry. So we don't need the water yet. It's not quite ready for the water, but we have it anyways. So we have future-proofed this setup. And then we have our light and our heavy there. Next is we're going to talk about our... We don't have cracking yet. Yeah, we're not quite ready for cracking. I think we're going to do a little more advanced oil setup once we get past the blue science and get into oil cracking. But for now, we have this going, and our basic oil is set up. Pretty simple, though. So we got our pump jacks over here. And our pump jacks are pushing all their oil into a amalgamated location. The first time you ever set up your oil, just run it to your base. These pipes can handle a lot of oil, and you're never going to use all your crude oil at the beginning. I'd be shocked and awed. Even if you got flamethrower turrets running, they just so gently sip that crude oil. And don't barrel it. Don't train it. Your first ever oil, just pipe it in. Just pipe it in. It's good. These guys already stopped because these two tanks are full. Just pipe it in, get it set up, and then eventually you can make some fancy stuff with it. Speaking of trains, in this playthrough, I'm actually not going to touch trains at all. I do have a train tutorial on my channel. It's about 10 minutes long, and if you don't understand trains by the end of 10 minutes, I'd be shocked. It's pretty straightforward. It's very simple, and you should have a good understanding of trains by the time that's done. Next, we're going to start getting the rest of our resources ready for blue science. We're not quite there yet, but we're almost. Plastic is one of the resources we need. And again, with the pipe mechanic, there's more flexibility on, so you can set this up in different ways. It's not nearly as limited as the refineries. So this setup here, you don't have to copy, do whatever you want. This will work for me. Is it the best way of doing it? Actually, I would say this is not the best way of doing it. But I'll let you figure that one out on your own. Can't eat all your creativity there. But for oil, I've literally never seen a better process for oil than that in my many hours of Factorio played. So, but again, if you do have a different design, I would love to see it. I am all ears here. And then we're gonna bring our coal over there. Got to grab some belts as well here, just to kind of make our life a little bit easier. Instead of handcrafting them all, we already have them automated, so I might as well grab them. And Chemical Science Pack is actually almost done already. It's just flying through the tech tree. We'll get batteries, red belts, and mining productivity. Mining productivity is a really, really interesting mechanic in this game. So as your base gets bigger and your factory gets bigger, I guess, you need more resources. You start consuming more. If we look at our production chart here, over the period of 1 hour, 10 hours, you can tell we went from nothing to we're eating and eating and eating. We're eating more and more and more. Over the period of an hour, it's kind of hard to say what's really happening, so we haven't really added too much. But over the period of 10 hours, you can see the factory is growing and eating a lot more. And then we look at our ore deposit. There's 5.2 million iron ore here. The farther away you get from the base, the bigger the deposits get. We have rich resources, so it's not cheaty, but our deposits will last a lot longer than they would in a normal playthrough if you just left settings default. But if you go to tech here for a second and you look at your mining productivity, this actually adds an extra 10% mining productivity. So it actually is going to add 10% to your deposit. So if the deposit is 100 million, it's now going to be 110 million you'll pull out of it. So what happens on the drill is the drill is going to mine up 10 pieces, and it's going to produce a free piece on top of it. So every 10 pieces it makes, it'll give a free one. Rinse, repeat. And then you can keep making your productivity even higher. This goes forever. It starts to get very expensive with more science, so it gets exponentially more expensive. But you can keep increasing your mining productivity so that small deposits are actually worth more and more and more and more in later game. And then you can module it as well to get even more, but that's a little more advanced, and for now we will not get into that. Now we notice we did make engine units already. So engineers are accumulating right here. We're just about ready to get our plastic up and running. So we're going to grab this guy right here. I don't have an underground. I literally have no undergrounds. This will be our plastic right there. Very beautiful. And we need the coal line. Just a little bit of spaghetti. Not too bad yet, considering our factory is just about to start producing blue science. It's very, 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 very organized. Very organized. And we'll grab our undergrounds. And there we go. We got plastic. Plastic is used to make the red chips. I know for a fact that my green chip production will not be nearly enough. But that's okay. We'll deal with that when we get there. Gonna make a few more of these guys. I really should have this automated right now. I'll have to handcraft 1,000 of them, but maybe we'll throw it right here. Something like that. You go there, you go there. This is gonna make, I believe it's gears it needs, right? Yep. Shift right click, shift left click. Double inserter there. You can have double inserter as well. Double inserter just allows it to work a bit faster. And there we go. So it's 2 inserters here putting into that building. This has double inserter picking up. And then we'll drop off there. There we go. Automated assemblers. That was hard. Easy, easy. So now we have our plastic automating. Now we're going to want to make red chips. Red chips are a little bit different. Plastic, copper, and electronic circuits. And it's a 6-second craft. It's a little bit slower. Nothing too crazy. But again, it has those, the copper. And like we talked about in the first episode, copper is one of those items you don't really want to belt. Lots of different ways of setting this up, but we'll go with a consistent-ish style here. I'm not a big fan of ever belting copper cable. I've done it. I suggest you give it a whirl too, but it's not an item I would suggest belting ever. I'm going to keep this similar, or same. Put the power line right in the middle of all these. And we're going to grab fast inserters here. Like that. Apparently I'm crafting a billion different items right now in my hand. Actually, not even that many. Feels like a lot, but it's really not that many. Put that there. Remember that copper that we never had a lot of to begin with? Now we'll have even less. Well, I guess the ammo has accumulated, so it's fine now. And now we're in copper sink number 2. I did mention that our green chips were not enough earlier. I believe on the last video. I said we don't make enough green chips. This is where you'll start noticing you don't make enough green chips. The red chips will eat a lot of your green chips. And then you'll just not have enough. So that's like that. Easy. And then we need the plastic bars, which are right above us. And then we need green chips as well. I'm going to grab some underground belts. We're going to make this just a little bit different style here. Our green chips are right over here. They're actually kind of blocked in. Who did that? Who's in charge here? Going to do this instead. We'll unblock it. And there we go. Now it's on the bus. Never was on the bus before, and now it's on the bus. Just like that. We're almost ready for the next science pack. We're so close. So close. But yet so far. Grab some more. I just need a few more underground belts. I am just murdering my belts in my inventory right now. I have way too much wood. That's okay, though. Belts are so far away. You can also make a path on the ground, which makes your run speed a bit faster. So you grab your bricks, and you can place them on the ground like this. I always want to do this, my factories, but I never end up doing it. And if I set it up like that, I'll never use that road again. Like, it seems like it's one of those things that you set it up, and it's like a great idea, but I never end up using it properly. I'm gonna do this. Doesn't need 2 there. 1 should be enough. When I discovered the idea of setting up like this, of having the belts go underneath the building in between and set up like that, it was revolutionary for me. It was like an epiphany moment in my life. It's not the best idea. It's not amazing, but it's just it's a very neat use of underground belts. It kind of cleans everything up. And there we go. Now we're making red chips. And like I said earlier, all our science is going to be below the bus. These will be the blue ones. Like that. And then we also need our other input as well. Put that space so we can drop power lines in between everybody. And the other item we need is sulfur, and sulfur is actually really easy to make. We got this beautiful chest right there. We just run this right through. We could do the triple setup here as well. And our sulfur we'll make over here. I'm gonna have to make a couple more chemical plants for the sulfur, but this should be okay. We want to impede on the plastic, not particularly, but well, that doesn't work. Still to this day, a couple thousand hours in Factorio played. I like to change up my strategies a bit of how I build stuff. Sometimes it really works very, very well. Other times it does not work at all. Having your buildings and liquid inputs face each other can work. I've done it often. On a building like that, though, it will not work because there are different inputs right next to each other. It's like it almost works. You almost can make it work, but you can't quite. You could offset them, I guess, to make that sort of work like that, but then you just start making a hot mess everywhere, and that's fun. Having pipes everywhere. Been there, done that. Don't want to do it again. Have a t-shirt, I think, somewhere. And there we go. We got sulfur going now. That's not what I want to do with the sulfur. We'll go the other way. We're going on this line here. Still no belts. How many belts have we used? So you can actually push P. So if you actually hypothetically ask that question to yourself and go to all, you can actually see how many belts we've used so far. We scroll down to this production thing. 6,500 belts. Now, some of them are used for science, so it's not a fair assessment. I believe actually you can look at buildings. So 3,300 belts have been placed in this factory. That's not bad. That's a respectable amount. Also notice my science is not teching because I picked the science that requires blue. So go swap over to battery. This is something we need in the future. Battery power. Put that like that. Double side that. And we're going to do the same thing here. But here we're going to do an output priority. So it's, these two guys are on the top and these two guys on the bottom. Or girls. Not sure which one they would be. Male or female. It doesn't matter. As long as they work. Grab these. And then we're going to do the exact same thing we did with our... I don't even know what one that was anymore. Our red ammo. our piercing rounds. I'm one short. Never enough. And if you have enough, it just means you're not building enough. Just keep building more. Grab some assemblers as well. Belts are good. Power is okay. Undergrounds are okay as well. And the factory almost grows again. And there we go. We have the blue science back. I would consider once you have blue up and running and your oil up and running, you are now at mid-game. So you've now entered mid-game. So if you're at this point and you have blue, congratulations. You made it to the mid-game of Factorio. Quite an achievement, I think, for your first time ever making it there. And we can just run this into that line there and we should do it like that. Okay, now we have production science packs, military, green, and red. In record time. I don't think it's record time, but it didn't take super long to do it. Our playtime is at, if we go save and go to tutorial 1.2, we are at 2 hours and 42 minutes. That's not bad. We have a basic defensive setup for the factory. A little bit of radar coverage. We're playing a bit slower so we can explain everything to you guys as well. Guys and girls. It's not bad. I am moderately happy with the current results right now as they stand. And then we can start adding more. I think the first step really is getting rid of these basic assemblers. They're so slow. Half speed assembler is incredibly slow. Crafting speed is underneath the very bottom of the chart there. I'd show you there, but you can't scroll and do it. 0.5. This is 0.75. It really does end up making a very big difference. When you're talking about thousands upon thousands of items built, that little bit of speed really adds up. Really, really does add up. So I suggest a good upgrade, if you notice your factory may be just a little bit too slow, is to build better assembler machines. So now we can copy this beautiful layout like that and put it right there. You actually don't need that space as well, but it looks so clean. Gotta stick with it. I'm not really historically known for my very clean builds. I do have historically streamed a bit on Twitch, a bit of Factorio, and I like to build very messy. So when people see me building clean, it's different. It's strange. People are confused. And there we go. So now we should have produced some blue science. If we look over at our blue science, or our labs, you'll see that there's now some blue science getting ready to get trucked over there. Another thing you may or may not have noticed, the labs have names to them. So this Matt's lab's name is Ryan. This is Matt. This is Ruggiero. This is Fritz Oz. Duelin Mister. Some of them are actually really funny. So what these names actually are these are early backers of Factorio. There's a big, huge list of names like that. Radars also have names. If you look at the radars has a name as well. This radar's name is Useless. Useless. Yep, okay. Pretty sure that's what it says. Eric Saxton. Jackal 13 Lantern. Delta Osiris. Some of the names I've seen before, but yeah. There's a pretty big list of names. Some of them are moderately humorous. I do suggest if you're looking around your factory one day, maybe check out the early backer list. It can be kind of funny. But yeah, there we go. We got blue science producing. Now it's going on both sides of the belt as well. We kind of had a block there, and we have now produced... How much blue science have we produced? 72, 78 blue science packs. So in less than 3 hours, we got all the way up until oil, and we have blue science packs going now. So we have all 4 science packs going. We just need 2 more. We need our production science packs and our utility science packs. I just call them the colors. I don't actually know the names. That's been years of me calling it a yellow science pack, so to actually ever know the name of a science pack, good luck on that. Again, if you do want to know anything about trains, again, this tutorial video will not be talking about trains at all. I do have a video in my YouTube channel on trains. It's 10 minutes long, and again, you should know trains very well after that video is done. And yeah, so we'll be back tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow. Our next video, we're going to be going over a little more advanced oil, and we're going to go over some circuits as well to set up with your oil. I guess it'll be oil 101 and everything you need to know. We'll go back over the basics again with oil, but didn't take long anyway. So, and yeah, so we'll stop there. I want to say thanks everyone for hanging out. Thanks for watching the video, and until next we meet, stay safe. This is Yamakar. Ciao for now.